Good morning, students. I'd like to welcome you to the class of mathematics. Today we are going to continue with our topic, what we call rate and variation. But before starting, I would like to remind you again, make sure you subscribe on my YouTube channel, what we call Sunflower Online, in order to get more tutorial videos concerning the mathematics subject. Make sure you do it. Okay, let us discuss about variation. Okay, first of all, we're supposed to understand the meaning of variation. What does variation means? The word variation, this one refer how does the changes of one quantity affect the other related quantity. So assume you have two related quantities. Let's say your first quantity is x and your second quantity is y. And assume that the magnitude of quantity x, let's say, is 4, and the magnitude of quantity y, let's say, is 5. So when we're talking about the variation, we are going to check how come if this quantity x is reduced to be, let's say, 3, how about this quantity y will be equal to what? This is what we call the variation. How does changes of the first quantity will affect the second related quantity? These issues are what we're going to discuss on this topic and what we call the variation. So we have to check the changes of second quantity made by the first quantity. Okay, let us continue. There's a types of this variation. There's a type of this variation, which is direct variation and the inverse variation. But by starting, let us check on the direct variation. What is a direct variation? When you have two quantities, let's say your first quantity is here and your second quantity is here. When this first quantity increase and the second quantity also increase, this we call the direct variation. But in case the first quantity decrease while the second quantity increase, that one will be the inverse variation. Okay, let us discuss more about this direct variation. Okay, now assume we have two quantity x and y, and we are going to present it on your graph. So let's say this is quantity x and this one is a quantity y, like this one. You have x and y. This one is the original for those quantity. It means at this point quantity y is 0 and quantity x also is 0. So when quantity x increase and quantity y also will be increased, like this one, as you see here. So when quantity x increase and also y will increase, that's why at this point I can say x, let's say 1, y 1. But at this point I can say, let's say, x is 2 and the y here is 2. That means quantity x increase and quantity y increase. This kind of variation is what we call the direct variation. Okay, as you see here, this is a graph. There is y-axis and x-axis. I can call in the x-axis there is a quantity x, and y-axis there is quantity y. But also, when you draw the graph like this one from the original, the value of y increase as the increase of the value of x. This one is what we call the direct variation, because all of them they increase. For instance, at this point A, value of x is 1, value of y is 1. But at this point B, value of x increased to be 2 and value of y is increased to be 2. At this point C, value of x increased to be 3 and this value of y also increased to be 3. So when the value of x increase and value of y increase, this is what we call the direct variation. It means all quantities, they are increased together or they are decreased together. For instance, if you have x here and you have y here, this means when this one decrease, also this one will decrease. But also when this one increase, also this y increase. This kind of variation is what we call the direct variation. Okay, let us go on. The graph of this direct variation was this one. Okay, let's check on the second issue, what we call the inverse variation. It is a vice versa from the direct variation. From the direct variation, tuliona kwamba if you have a value of x here and value of y here, the way x increase, also y will increase, and the way this x decrease, also this y will decrease. That is a direct variation. But for the inverse variation, it is quite different from the previous. For this one, if you have the first quantity here and you have the second quantity here, when the first quantity increases, the second quantity will decrease. This was what we call the inverse variation. And also, when the first quantity is decreased here, then second quantity will increase. This one is what we call the inverse variation. This means when the first quantity will increase, second quantity will decrease, and also vice versa is true. Okay, let us check the graphs of inverse variation. Let us check like this one. Assume this one is a quantity y and this one is quantity x. It is found that at a certain point here, the value of y, let's say there's a number here, let's say here the value of y is 3 at this point. So the graph will decrease from here, will decrease this way up to certain point. So remember, here we have a certain number, let's say 1, 2, 3. Okay, at this point, the value of y is 3, while the value of x is 0 here. But as the time goes on, at this point, the value of x is 1, while the value of y is 2. So the value of y decreased by 1 step, while the value of x increased by 1 step, because previously at this point, the value of x was 0. But for this point now, the value of x is 1, while the value of y reduced to be 2 now instead of 3. Okay, tukimove mpaka huku, value of x here is 1, is 3, and the value of y here is 1. This means when value of y decrease, value of x will increase. That's why this one will be the graph of the inverse variation. Value moja inaongezeka, nyingine inapungua. That's why we call this is an inverse variation. Okay, that is its graph. Let us continue. Okay, let us check on the worked example concerned with this kind of questions of rate and variation, especially in the section of variation. Okay, let us check this first one. If x was direct proportional to y and the x equals to 4 when y equals to 2, find the value of y when x equals to 6. Okay, how can solve this kind of question? Stay tuned. Okay, first of all, we're supposed to correct our data here. He says that if x was direct proportional to y, this means value of x, it was direct proportional to y. Direct proportional to y. This one is what we call the proportionality sign. The symbol is called the proportionality sign. So instead of say value of x is direct proportional to y, I can say value of x is direct proportional to y. So this symbol means directly proportional. This is a proportionality symbol. It can be either direct or inverse. What you have to understand, this is a proportionality sign. Okay, and also continue. If x was direct proportional to y, as you see here, direct proportional to y, x equals to 4 when y equals to 2. Find the value of y when x equals to 6. You need to find the value of y when x equals to 6. Okay, from this one, you have to develop the proportionality constant. How can you develop the proportionality constant? You're supposed to remove this proportionality sign and to introduce the proportionality constant k. Always proportionality constant is presented by k in the most cases. Okay, let us remove this one. When you remove this one, we're supposed to introduce the proportionality constant. Now, our equation will be x is equal to ky, where that k is what we call the proportionality constant. This one is called proportionality constant. So we have to find this proportionality constant. In order to find this proportionality constant, we're supposed to divide by y both sides. So divided by y here, divided by y here, in order to get the proportionality constant k. Now this one divided by y, this one divided by y. Then from there, you will find the proportionality constant k is equal to x over y. Now this is a proportionality constant. Okay, after getting the proportionality constant, now you have to refer from your question. For these questions of variation, it consists two kinds of data: complete data and incomplete data. as you see here, what will be the complete data and what will be the incomplete data. From this question, he said that if x is y's direct proportional to y and x equals to 4 when y equals to 2, this means when x equals to 4 and y equals to 2. This one is our first data, but also there's another data here. Let us read it. And x is equal to x4 when y equals to 2. Find the value of y when x equals to 6. Find the value of y when x equals to 6. Find the value of y when x equals to 6. We need to find the value of y will be equals to what? Okay, so now here I have two sets of data, the first one here and the second one here. Here we have this one is complete data and this one is incomplete data. Why I say this is complete and this is incomplete? This one is complete because we have all value of x and value of y. But for this one, I have value of x, but I don't have value of y. So this one is incomplete data. So what you're supposed to do, you have to consider this complete data in order to find the proportionality constant k. So just plug complete data in order to get the proportionality constant. Okay, so now here will be like this one. You have to refer from the proportionality constant to Leopata. Proportionality constant k is equal to x over y. So let us find what will be the value of the proportionality constant from there. Now it will be like this. Now k will be equal to x over y, but I'm supposed to use the complete data in order to find the proportionality constant, which is x equals to 4, y equals to 2. Okay, so this one will be equals to x over y, which is equal to 4 over 2, which is equal to 2. So now my proportionality constant k is equal to 2. Okay, after getting the proportionality constant, I think now we can continue. Now we're supposed to find something called the proportionality equation. Since you have this proportionality constant, you can find the proportionality equation. So what will be the proportionality equation? The proportionality equation is written like this one. From k is equal to x over y. Let me find the proportionality equation. I'm supposed to plug the value of k here, but the value of k tulipata ni mbili, so we have to plug the value of k is equal to 2 here. So now I can write 2 is equal to x over y. This one is what we call the proportionality equation. This is my proportionality equation. 2 equals to x over y. So after getting the proportionality equation, now you are supposed to refer from your question, check your incomplete data. My incomplete data was x equals to 6, y equals to what? So I don't have value of y, but I have value of x. I'm supposed to use this incomplete data in order to find the unknown with the assistance from the proportionality equation. So x equals to 6, y is unknown. Okay, let me use my proportionality equation. X is equal to 6, y is unknown. Okay, let me go. This 2 will be equal to x equals to 6 over y is unknown. I'm supposed to find y. So for here, what we're supposed to claim it, to understand it, is to consider your proportionality equation and to take the incomplete data in order to find the unknown value. Okay, this one put over 1, then cross multiplication. From there, you will find y will be equal to what? This one times this one, 2y divided by 6. So at the end of the day, y will be equal to 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. So at the end of the day, you have to write your value of y is equal to 3, something like this one. Okay, this one is what he did on my solution. Let me check the solution here. Okay, as you see, we have two kinds of data. The first data is this one, which is complete data. The second data is this one, which is incomplete data. And also from there, the complete data, we have x equals to 4, y equals to 2, and the incomplete data, x equals to 2, x is equals to 6, and y is unknown. Okay, as usual, from the question said that value of x is directly proportional to the y, so you have to remove the proportionality this one and introduce the proportionality constant k. As you see here, remove this one, introduce k, so x will be equal to k y. Also make x subject. From there you will find k equals to x over y. After making the subject here, now we're supposed to use the complete data to find value of k. So k will be equal to x over y, plug in my complete data, x4, y2, so 4 over 2, k will get equals to 2. Okay, after getting k equals to 2, now your proportionality equation will be 2 equals to x over y. So you're supposed to plug this one to your proportionality there. So we'll get 2 will be equal to x over y. Then from there, you're supposed to use the incomplete data. From your incomplete data, you will find that 2 is equal to x2 over y2, because this x2 and y2 is our incomplete data. Okay, from there 2 equals to 6, because the x is 6 over y. I don't have the value of y, that's why I leave it as it is. Then from there, cross multiplication, you will find y equals to 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. That is our first question. Let us check the second question. This one, it is quite different from the previous. Now, if value of x was inverse proportional to y, if x was inverse proportional to y and x equals to 4 when y equals to 2, we need to find the value of y when x equals to 6. Okay, now as usual, you have to read your question. From our question, it says that, from our question here, it says that value of x values inverse proportional to y. Inverse, because he said it is inversely proportional, supposed to write 1 over y. This is inversely proportional to y. So when you say this is inverse, it's supposed to be 1 over something. That means inverse. So x is inverse proportional to y. Ingekuwa x is direct proportional to y, tungeandika hapa y as y. But since this is inverse, that's why 1 over y. So this one you can read x is inverse proportional to y. Okay, from there, as usual, you're supposed to remove this proportionality sign and introduce the proportionality constant. So now it'll be like this one, x is equal to k over y, because I know that when you plug 1 here, so 1 times k will be equal to k, then k over 1, something like this one. After there, you have to make k the subject, put over 1 and make k the subject like this one. At the end of the day, we'll find k is equal to what? X times y, x times y. So proportionality constant k is equal to x times y. This is our proportionality constant. So you have to plug complete data in order to find the value of proportionality constant k. So what is our complete data? You have to read your question well. We know that k is equal to x times y. So go and check your complete data and the incomplete data. Let us check it. Now I have k is equal to x, y. But from my data here, I have y is equal to 2, x equals to 4. When x equals to 4, y is equal to 2. So x is equal to 4, y is equal to 2. But also I have, this one is my first set of data, but also I have second set of data. Which one? x6, what is value of y? And also x is equal to 6, y, I don't have it. It will be equal to what? Okay, so this is 2 set of data. I think this one is a complete data because I have all value of x here, I have it, value of y, I have it. And this one is instead of incomplete data because I have one unknown. So this one is incomplete data. So in order to find the proportionality constant k, or in order to find the value of k, you're supposed to use set of complete data. Okay, so you're supposed to use x equals to 4 here, and you're supposed to use y equals to 2 in order to find a value of k. Okay, so now from there, from our k is equal to x, y, this means value of k will be equal to, what is value of x, what is value of y from our complete data? x4, y2. So now x4 times y2. From there you'll find this k equals to 8. So after getting value of k is equal to 8, you now have to find the proportionality equation. Proportionality equation is obtained from your proportionality constant k. So you have to plug value of k here in order to get the proportionality equation. Now your proportionality equation will be 8 is equal to x y. This is because your value of k is equal to 8. So just plug and you'll find this one, and we call it the proportionality equation. Okay, so what next? You have to use this proportionality equation to find your unknown. Okay, you have to use this proportionality equation to find your unknown. Okay, let us go on. So 8 will be equal to x times y. What is value of x and y? X equals to 6 here, y we need to find it. So x equals to 6, y we need to find it. I don't know what is value of y. So divide by 6 here, divide by 6 here. So at the end of the day, y will be equal to 8 over 6. By simplification, this one will be equal to what? This one will be equal to 4 over 3, something like this one. Okay, I think we are together. This one is what we are supposed to do. Okay, then from there, this one will be your value of y. Create. Okay, as you see here from your sheet, as it's seen here, it says that value of x is inverse proportional to y here. As you see, because it is inverse, that's why it is 1 over y. And also from there, you have to remove this proportionality. You're supposed to introduce the proportionality constant k. So x will be equal to k times 1 over y. This one is the same as x equals to ky, because this is 1, k times 1 will get k. So put over 1, cross multiplication. As you see here, you will find k equals to x times y. After getting k equals to x times y, then you have to check your data. From my data, x1, y1 is this one, x1 is 4, y1 is 2, and this one, x2, it means it is my second data. That's why I write x2, which is equal to 6, y2, I don't know, is equal to what. Okay, from there, from my proportionality constant k given by x times y, so k will be equal to x1, y1, because I'm supposed to use the first data, which is complete data, in order to get value of k. So by considering my complete data, I will find value of k equals to 8, as you see here, because k equals to x times y, and x equals to 4, y equals to 2. So k is equal to 8. Okay, so now since k equals to 8, my proportionality equation will be 8 equals to kx after plugging value of k here, proportionality constant. So plug value of proportionality constant, you will find the proportionality equation. Okay, so now we're supposed to use this proportionality equation to find unknown. So now we're supposed to plug in complete data in order to find the unknown value from your proportionality equation here. So 8 will be equal to our second data with unknown is x2 and y2. So 8 equals to x2, y2. From there you have to plug your data. Now 8 equals to 6 times y2. I don't know what is y2. That's why I'm right y. Then divide by 6 here, divide by 6 here. At the end of the day, y will be equal to 8 over 6. When you simplify, you get y equals to 4 over 3, something like this one. Okay, let us move. For third question here, okay, let us read it. If y was direct proportional as the square of x, and that when x equals to 4, y equals to this one, calculate y when x equals to 6. So don't forget the procedure. It is look like the same procedure. Okay, let us go on. Firstly, we collect our data here. We have the first time when x is 4, y equals to 8. So when x4, y equals to 8, I write this one is x1 and y1 because this is my first data. But after there, my second data, which is incomplete data, I have x2. When this x2 is 6, y2, I don't have y2. So this one is my complete data, this one is my incomplete data. Then from there, we have to read the question. The question said that y is direct proportional to square of x. This means y is direct proportional to square of x. It means direct proportional to x squared. This is the square of x. So as usual, you have to remove this proportionality and introduce proportionality constant. So now it will be y is equal to, now will be this one, y is equal to k x squared. So divide by x squared, divide by x squared. Now from there you will find k is equal to y over x squared. As you see here, k equals to y over x squared. After getting it, as usual, you have to complete. After getting k equals to y over x squared, like this one, so now you're supposed to use your complete data. From your complete data, k will be equal to y1 over x1 squared. So y1 is 8, x1 is 4. So this one is the same as 80 over 4 squared, because this is x1 squared. You will find 8 over 16, which is equal to 5. After getting k equals to 5, now your proportionality equation will be 5 equals to x over y, but you have to use the incomplete data, which consists x2 and y2. y2 I don't have, that's why I'm supposed to write y. x2 is x, so it will be y over x squared. Then from there you have to plug your data. We'll find 5 will be equal to y over 30x2 is equal to 6, so 6 squared will be equal to 36. So 5 equals to y over 36. By crossing multiplication, you'll find there y equals to 1/8. So this one, it is the same as the previous. You can try it yourself for your time. Okay, let us move on. If y was inverse proportional as the square of x, it's the same as the previous, but the difference here, this is the inverse proportional. That one was the direct proportional. So this is inverse proportional. It is quite different from the previous. Okay, how to attempt this one is as usual. It says that y inverse proportional to the square of x. So y is inverse proportional to the square of x, like this one. Because this is inverse proportional, that way you have to write 1 over something, because this is the inverse. Okay, from there, what next? You have to remove this proportionality, this proportional sign, and introduce the proportionality constant. So how can remove this one? It will be like this one. Y will be equal to